Welcome to The Explainer. All right, today we are jumping headfirst into the wild world of cryptocurrency and the blockchain technology that underpins it all. We're going to unpack both the incredible promise and, the significant perils of this whole digital revolution. $80 million. I mean, that's just a staggering amount of money, right? But what if I told you that back in 2010, that was the price of 2 pizzas? No joke. In one of the very first real-world Bitcoin transactions, a guy paid 10,000 Bitcoins for 2 Papa John's pizzas. Fast forward just 8 years, and those same coins were worth over $80 million. And that pizza story, as wild as it is, really gets to the core of everything. It makes you wonder, how on earth does this digital money even work? Where does all that value come from? To figure that out, we gotta start with the basics. So to really get a handle on the value, we first need to understand the concept itself. What is a cryptocurrency anyway? You know, unlike the money sitting in your bank account, which is controlled by, banks, cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin were built for something different. They were designed for direct, person-to-person transactions. It's a system built from the ground up to cut out the middleman, and it's all powered by a truly revolutionary piece of tech. And that revolutionary tech I just mentioned, that's the blockchain. It's the engine that makes this whole idea of decentralized digital money possible. So the big question is, how does it all work? Okay, at its heart, a blockchain is kind of like a shared digital notebook. Imagine everybody on the network has their own copy of this notebook. Every time a transaction happens, a new page or a block gets added. But here's the magic. Each new block is cryptographically sealed to the one before it, which makes it practically impossible to change or delete anything once it's written down. So let's just walk through it real quick. First, you request a transaction. That request then gets blasted out across the entire network of users. Then, super powerful computers called miners all race to solve a really complex math puzzle to verify that transaction is legit. The first one to crack the code gets to add the new block to the chain, and just like that, the transaction is a permanent part of the record. In this whole process, this whole system really hinges on 2 absolutely game-changing ideas. First, it's decentralized. That means no single person, no company, no government is in charge. The network is run by everyone who uses it. And second, it's immutable. Once a transaction is on the blockchain, it's there forever. It can't be changed, it can't be faked, and it can't be deleted. And this is a massive departure from what we're all used to, right? A traditional database, like what your bank uses, is centralized. There's an administrator who can go in and change or delete things. A blockchain, on the other hand, is decentralized. It's controlled by group agreement, by consensus. You can add new data, sure, but you can't go back and mess with the old stuff. So, as you can imagine, this totally unique structure has opened up some incredible opportunities, and it's captured the imagination of investors and innovators all over the globe. I mean, the advantages are pretty compelling. The strong cryptography makes it super secure, and by cutting out the middlemen, that's a fancy word called disintermediation, it can seriously lower transaction costs. Plus, the shared ledger means total transparency for everyone involved. And of course, as we saw with that pizza story, it created a whole new type of investment with the potential for absolutely massive returns. Okay, but it is not all sunshine and rainbows. This groundbreaking technology also comes with a major set of challenges and some very, very real risks that you just can't afford to ignore. Probably the biggest concern you hear about is its energy consumption. That proof-of-work mining process where all those computers are racing to solve puzzles, it uses an insane amount of electricity. We're talking about a power draw that's comparable to the entire country of Denmark. That's huge, and it raises some serious questions about sustainability. And believe me, the energy thing is just the tip of the iceberg. The market is famously wildly volatile. Security isn't 100% foolproof either. There's a theoretical risk of what's called a 51% attack, where one group could actually take control of the network. And on top of all that, the lack of clear rules and regulations has created a sort of Wild West for investors. Yeah, this quote really just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? All of this intense speculation has led to these spectacular bubbles and just devastating crashes. We've seen it happen. Prices will shoot up to the moon, and then in just a few months, they'll plummet by over 60%, wiping out people's fortunes practically overnight. And beyond the volatility and the energy use, there's another really fundamental hurdle: speed.
Right now, blockchain technology really struggles to handle a lot of transactions at once. This scalability bottleneck is a massive barrier that's stopping cryptocurrencies from really becoming a mainstream way to pay for things.
So, after all that, where do we go from here? With so much incredible promise on one hand and so much peril on the other, what does the future actually hold for this technology? Well, the first thing to know is that blockchain is not standing still. It is constantly evolving. Generation 1 was all about creating cryptocurrency itself. Generation 2 gave us smart contracts, which are basically contracts that execute themselves with code. Now, the newer generations are focused on fixing that scalability problem and even integrating with things like AI. And the good news is, really smart people are actively working to solve these huge problems. For example, new systems like proof of stake are coming up. Instead of having computers burn tons of energy competing to solve puzzles, this method lets people validate transactions based on the coins they already have. It's a much more energy-efficient way to do things. And so, that leaves us with the ultimate question, doesn't it? The technology is maturing, it's getting better, but will it overcome these massive challenges to become a fundamental part of our financial and digital lives? Or will it stay a fascinating but kind of niche technology, a really cool solution that's still searching for its big problem to solve? Only time is gonna tell.